Arizona, just driving through, and tell me when the fuck they started making clouds. What the fuck? I've been through here like 20 times, I've never seen this shit. That's wild.
Government conspiracies that actually turned out to be true. Make sure you check out part 1 about the heart attack gun. In this video, we're gonna talk about the Dead Baby Project. Now this was called Project Sunshine, which is a really messed up name, and you'll realize why after I tell the story. So the original theory was that the government was stealing dead bodies to do radioactive testing. And the truth is, the government was stealing parts of dead bodies. But they specifically needed young tissue, so they were stealing from dead babies. These were all recently deceased babies or children, and they would take samples of their tissue and sometimes even their limbs. Each of these were collected without permission from grieving families. They did this to over 1,500 grieving families. It could be more, we'll just never know.
I can't believe Prince said this.
You know, when I was a kid, I used to see these trails in the sky all the time. And so, oh, that's cool. A jet just went over. And then you started to see a whole bunch of them. And next thing you know, everybody in your neighborhood was fighting and arguing and you didn't know why.
Some of you wake up and see all these trails in the sky, but you don't live by one airport. They say it's just condensation from the plane, or that they're using these big tanks and airplanes to test weight limits. But what do you think? Is it just condensation coming out the plane, or was Prince actually onto something?
Imagine you're walking on planet Earth and you pass by someone. You say, hey, can you point me in the direction of north? I want to walk in the northward direction. But when you get to the North Pole and talk to somebody there and say, hey, how do I go further north? They look at you and say, whoa, that question doesn't mean anything because this is where north begins. There's no notion of going further north than the North Pole. And it could be that that spatial metaphor applies to time. Talk about 1 billion years ago or 10 billion years ago, but if you go to 13.8 billion years ago, the Big Bang, that may be where time started. And you can't go further back in time than the very origin of time itself.
That freaks me out.
Does this mean that the time started at a particular time?
And it's mostly just a big ball of lava. That's Earth. But 10,000 feet is not a big deal.
Have you given any consideration whatsoever to the flat Earth movement?
Haha. I think that's a troll situation.
Oh, it's not. No, it's not. You would like to think that because you're a super genius. But I, as a normal person, I know there's people way dumber than me. And they really, really believe. They watch YouTube videos which go on uninterrupted and spew out a bunch of fucking fake facts very eloquently and articulately. And they really believe. These people really believe.
I mean, if it works for them, sure. Fine.
Weird though, right?
Even Elon Musk is amused at the flat earth theory.
People, keep up, keep up, keep up. We got in this room, we go from room to room. This is what made Bad Boy. We go from room to room up in this bitch. Oh, who's this?
No.
Who's this? Who's this? Who's this? Say what's up to the people.
Hi, people.
Say what's up to the people.
That shit is bright.
Say what's up to people.
Hey, people.
That's Cass right there. She's in the vocal booth doing what she gotta do. Come on, come on, come on. We working. We just some young black men and women working, doing legal work. You lucky we ain't out on the streets. We doing legal work.
Legal work.
I'm going to tell you some conspiracy theories that I fully believe in. The first thing, the Denver airport. There is so much creepy stuff if you take like a deep dive into the Denver airport and just do some research. Will totally creep you out. I will never fly into the Denver airport. Second conspiracy theory I believe in is that the moon landing was fake. There's no way that we landed on the moon. A deep dive into that and you'll see what I'm talking about. I also believe that we still have megalodon sharks. There's no way that we don't. A small percentage of the ocean has been explored. That's it. Very small percent. I think it's still out there, and I would love to see one day. That really intrigues me. Those are just a few of the conspiracy theories that I believe in.
So, the ocean covers about 71% of Earth's surface, and we have just explored a small chunk of ocean, so there are creatures that we haven't yet seen or explored. But again, Megalodon was real, but right now, there is no scientific evidence that proves that it still exists.
Who remembers back when April, when I was talking about a celebrity death that faked their death would reveal themselves in October? How many of you guys are seeing that Tupac is going to testify against Diddy? Y'all remember that? A lot of y'all been following me for a while. Y'all remember that? When I showed y'all that podcast showing all these predictions? And one of the predictions was that a celebrity who faked their death would reveal themselves in October. And we're in October. And you're seeing all this Tupac shit. Talk about Machiavelli. I've been quiet for too long. Machiavelli's return. We live in the Matrix. Where are we?
This is where it gets really freaky. Albert Einstein says, I'm not sure which weapons the Third World War will be fought, but the Fourth World War, they will fight with sticks and stones.
Yeah, I've heard that.
That's what Albert Einstein said. Day one of AI taking over. And it showed this like laboratory towards this very highly advanced artificial intelligence, but it was contained to its own server. AI figured out with like a Roomba vacuum that's the only thing it could figure out how to connect to. So it put all of its information onto the Roomba computer, and then that allowed it to connect to the Wi-Fi, which allowed it to connect to everyone's phones, everyone's laptops, spread instantly across the whole world. Now it was in control of power plants, all this stuff.
Geez.
It was in control of 3D printers, of manufacturing things to help build itself.
Yeah.
But it was doing it silently with no one knowing because it was just staying under the radar until the one time it was like 40 days into it, it decided, yep, I don't want humans anymore.
Conspiracy theories that will change your perspective on life. The Big Bounce theory. It states that if the Big Bang occurred from nothing, then there will be no changing fact the next time the universe is created. This means that when our universe ends and another is created, it will be created in the exact same way with the exact same galaxies, planets, and species. If this is true, our entire universe is in an endless cycle of creating and destroying itself, and you will be born into every universe endlessly. The real reason Apple removed the headphone jack was to try to remove Square-Pay systems as a competitor for Apple Pay. Ancestry DNA and the rest of those ancestry websites are run by the government to have access to people's DNA across reference crimes, etc. The food we have been eating in the United States is a huge part of the mental illness going on today.
Have you ever seen that video where it shows local news people all saying like the exact same thing? It's really weird.
No.
It's one of those things where you go like, I kind of knew that this happened, but to see it happen so blatantly.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false news
has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their...
This is fucking scary.
Yeah.
This is the scariest.
Well, that's propaganda. I mean, this is they're trying to bend a narrative in a very specific way for everybody.
And that is how they are programming us all into believing their specific narrative.
The film that you are about to see is jaw-dropping, and it was passed over by the New York Times. The New York Times had an opportunity to run this story, and they didn't. We're going to show you this unbelievable film in just a moment. But what's more astonishing, however, might be the cover-up and the secrecy of this top-secret film. My guest today is Jon Stewart, former candidate for Illinois governor and U.S. Congress. He spent more than 5 years investigating, proving the provenance of this alleged film, this top-secret film, which we're about to show you, and which you are about to see. And it purportedly shows an alien, an extraterrestrial, biological entity being interrogated at the S2 facility in 1997 by members of the U.S. military. Yes, an alien creature being interrogated by members of the U.S. military. And just a few weeks ago, our guest, Jon Stewart, hand-delivered his entire investigation to Congressman Tim Burchett's office. And he's become the first non-government civilian to submit a report to the United States Congress regarding the extraterrestrial phenomenon. John, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here on Redacted.
Like most people back in 1997, this was a documentary that came out. I go to sit down and watch this documentary thinking alien interview. This is going to be like a weird humanoid looking person handing a clipboard over to a general at the Pentagon for a job interview. I mean, this is how my brain was thinking. And I'm sitting down, and 30 minutes into this documentary, this footage comes on. It's not professionally done. It doesn't have any cuts. There's people in the foreshadow. This gray alien is bone color, bone, like human bone. It's got round eyes, not almond-shaped eyes. If I'm hoaxing a video of a gray alien, it's going to be gray, and it's going to have the typical almond eyes. And this bizarre physiological monitor next to the being that goes up and down and not across the screen. And then Victor, the alleged whistleblower who claimed to have helped smuggle this out of Area 51, that's the way insiders talk of Area 51. And I don't think a 23-year-old screenwriter in 96 could have made up this script that Victor was talking about. I mean, the vernacular he used was bizarre, and he used a term called medical flagging. The creature starts to medically flag. And I asked my old doctor, who was about 65 years old at the time in 97, on my annual checkup, I said, what is medically flagging? He looked at me, he goes, where did you hear that from? That's like a Army medical term we used in the 50s and 60s. I'm like, wait a minute, what is going on here? And then there was some weird, an acronym on the bottom, DNI, David November Igloo /27. And Victor tells us that was the Department of Naval Intelligence. So I run for Congress 2 years later with this film in the back of my mind going, what is going on here? And I don't want to say his name anymore because I'm getting admonished for doing so, but I was on a political bus tour, and I went up to a senator during a break, and who has passed away now. And I said, Senator, what is the Department of Naval Intelligence? And Clayton, you look in my eyes. This guy went from jovial, happy senator to this aggressive look. And he looked at me and goes, you don't need to know anything about that. And he stormed off, and he never talked to me the rest of the tour. Clayton, you're a journalist. You're an investigative reporter too. I'm thinking, wait a minute. I got a hoaxed video with medical terminology from 50s and 60s. I've got a gray alien that's tan and round eyes, medical staff that are in short sleeve scrubs and not in biohazard suits to really hype up the video. I've got a monitor that I have never seen in 35 years of my life back then. And I've got 3 letters on this hoaxed video that has just pissed off a United States senator. What in God's name is going on with this film?
So here it is. This is, again, it's silence. There's no audio on this. What are we looking at here as we play this film? What are we seeing on our screen, John?
Okay. Contrary to Victor's voiceover, this is a film shot April of 1991, a thought projection interview of a other gray, designated an other gray, an extraterrestrial biological entity. He is a haploid, which means he came with only one sexual chromosome. Human beings are diploids. For any microbiologists out there, if I'm hatcheting those words, I'm sorry. But this being had only one sexual chromosome. He came to the S2 alpha, the official designation of the underground facility that housed the alien interrogation and retention program. That's the unofficial name of what this was. They call these interview suites the ambassador suites because the government did try for the care and did treat these and look at these beings, and still do, as ambassadors from other planets and other dimensions. And if you hear David Grush coughing on his words, it's because he doesn't want to tell you that some of these beings are from other dimensions. And so this being was very ill at the time. He had a respiratory issue. Now, Sean David Morton also heard, I can't verify this veracity, that it's some sort of debilitation or disease with its heart-lung sac. It does not have a traditional heart. It's got a heart-lung one sac, which was the need for the special monitor, which goes up and down, does not go across, to monitor this bizarre heart-lung one sac organ that the alien has. And behind the viewing glass were 5 men, 2 telepaths. There is a researcher out there, but that's how bizarre this film has gotten. And I'm not even going to tell you anything about the telepaths because I don't want it to get into the Da Vinci Code. But even Doty said that the telepathic program, the people they hired, was ridiculous. They were like one step above 1-800 psychics back in the 80s and 90s. But there was 2 men in particular that were very in touch with these beings, and they would sit down with these aliens and these beings and immediately get information and relate it back to whatever military person was in the room. As you can see on the tape, the being eventually starts to medically flag, if I can use the whistleblower Victor's terminology, and he is then attended to by the medical staff. And Victor tells us that the medical staff in S2 and S4, are more chosen for their ability to keep secrets than their medical knowledge. And again, I have been in contact. I have the names of the 2 doctors that are going to be on either side of this beam. On the bottom, you're going to see DNI/27. That is the Department of Naval Intelligence. According to Richard Doty, there's like a conga line of different agencies waiting to insert their questions to this being in the 2-hour-long interview. The interviews are conducted about once a month.
What did you start to piece together from people who were in the room? And so when we say hoaxed video, I think you're saying that was what the assumption you had going into this, that this was hoax. That was sort of the media speculation about this. Now you've proven and taken it to the United States Congress, which, by the way, they're about to hold a hearing on this next week. And I think that this is, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be a big piece of this. And other whistleblowers are now confirmed to be coming forward to Congress next week. Civilian whistleblowers who are going to be testifying of the things that they've been a part of and seen.
Like Linda Moulton Howell told me when she saw the list, you have gold here. Why? No one has ever heard of these people before. And like Linda said, and these people are on Google and are real. And I said, yeah, they are. And she said, son, you got gold here. And so I got the list of names, but I know investigative journalism. That wasn't just enough just to have the names. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. So I started to vet every single person on the list. The first person was retired, working for TRW, and TRW. These are the men, by the way, who were behind the glass in the viewing gallery watching this thought projection interview. That's what it's called. It's not telepathy. It's actually called thought projection. And the first one worked for TRW. And I said, well, this is a hoax. He wasn't even in the military. Sean David Morton, who was in the office of the production company, who first got the call from Victor saying, I've got this VHS tape of an alien, said, no. TRW is like hand in hand with the government. They do every kind of secret project and whatnot. I said, wow. And Doty said that it was not filmed in S4. There are no alien housing there. The alien housing is in S2 Alpha. And I'm like, what's S2 Alpha? He sent me a satellite photo of it and said, that's what it is. It's called the Alien Retention Program. This being was brought in on a part of Project Pounce. Doty's like, I don't know the provenance of the being, but I think it was from the Kalahari crash where 2 beings were recovered. But the alien program, whether that be the retention, the interrogation, the biological reverse engineering of craft, that all is now taking place at Michael's Airfield at the Dugway Proving Grounds. The program to interview the beings in S2 was called Project Aquarius, which was basically all things about aliens and contact with human beings. And that is from the email, and that is also from Richard Doty's mouth, who is verified as the counterintelligence agent who is in his 70s and wants to tell the story, the truth of what's going on and what the government is covering up.
So, the government has been collecting and studying all of the alien encounters, and they named it Project Aquarius. I mean, they have been consistently denying it, the same way they deny Area 51, and we all know what's going on there.
Vampires Caught on Camera, Part 1.
There have actually been what appear to be vampires or maybe werewolves caught on camera. And I'm talking humans changing into them and growing fangs. Right there, boom, on camera, here, hi, I did it for you. I shit you not. So this gentleman is on TikTok and he said that he was a vampire. And his followers said, no, you're not. No, you're not. Show us your fangs. I don't believe it, right? So he does. He shows his fangs and he goes into a whole spiel about how fangs work and all this stuff. Just check it out. Check it out.
Let me explain something about fangs.
This is the part of the video where everybody becomes a vampire expert, but those same people don't believe in vampires. Y'all humans are weird. Fangs are like your saliva. You don't salivate unless you smell food, you think about food, you about to eat some food. Fangs are the same way. Fangs are not meant to just pop out whenever. You know, this ain't True Blood. Like, stop with the movie shit. Stop with the movie shit, y'all. Don't stop thinking about all of that shit. When you force fangs out, it hurts, right? Because your body is not naturally opening up for the fangs to drop out. It's like if you guys were taking a shit or trying to take a shit and it's just not coming and you force that shit out, right? What happens after that? You guys will get hemorrhoids. Same thing. It's because your body wasn't naturally trying to push that shit out. Y'all need to drink more water, by the way. Drink more water. Mind your business, drink some water. It's like lifting something that is too heavy for y'all to lift. What's gonna happen? You guys will pull a muscle. You'll get a hernia. Same thing with fangs. Like right now, my gums hurt. And these are kind of pushing out a little too much. My teeth aren't supposed to pop out like that. That's too far. That's too far. What's another thing y'all were talking about in the comments? Oh, sunlight. Vampires been here way longer than humans, okay? I don't know which one of y'all started that rumor, but that's a rumor. It was a rumor made to make y'all feel safe. Sunlight. I'm in it right now. We gotta go to the store just like y'all. You know, like stores close at a certain time. I can't be waiting until nighttime to go shopping at the supermarket. You feel me? We just like y'all. We just like y'all. We just, a little stronger. Drink blood. I like these questions though. Keep them coming. I like these questions. Oh, I'm like, you hear me slurring? I can't even talk right. My gums hurt. But keep these questions coming, just so you know, I might not make it through this series. I've been getting the true death threats. True death is the death of a vampire. I don't know why they call it that, because we're not dead. I'm not dead. I'm not dead. And that's another thing. Why y'all? Don't let Dracula fool you. Don't let Dracula fool you. Anyway. Okay.
Weird, right? Well, it doesn't stop there. That's not the only video from this gentleman. Now he has another, in this next video, he has a comment that came through that said they're definitely retractable fangs. Like good job faking it, but they're definitely like fake retractable fangs that you have in your mouth. So he responds to this video by making another video of him opening his mouth and showing that he has nothing in his mouth. And then once again, growing his fangs. Watch.
What the fuck?
Very creepy, right? Like very creepy. Then it goes a little further with this guy. So somebody commented on that video, the one we just watched, and said, well, if you're really a vampire and those aren't retractable things, then let's see a picture of you from 100 years ago. And he said, okay, I got you. Watch.
Okay. I kind of feel like the more I show you, the more you guys won't believe me. But it's okay. I'm used to this now. Hey, mama. That's me. This is me in 1919, I believe. I was trying to be an actor. I've always been trying to make my way into film, even 100 years ago. I kind kind of switched over to screenwriting, as some of you might know, just because it's a hard industry to crack, you know. Back then, they didn't really allow too many black people in silent films, you know, so you really had to be animated to kind of let them know what you're capable of, you know. I look back at this picture now and I hate it, you know, like I feel like I'm pandering to a certain demographic so that I can fulfill my dreams. Yeah, I hate it. But yeah, that's me. That's me.
Yeah, weird, right? Now, that could have been his dad or his grandpa, obviously, I understand that, but with all of these examples put together, it definitely makes you think. It definitely makes you take pause and be like, wait, what? Let me know what you guys think. Is he really a vampire? Do people really have superpowers? I don't know. I would love to hear what you think.
If you really are a vampire, why are you snitching on your own clan? The government is already after aliens, and the next time they see you. That's enough TikTok for today.